Welcome to Histrionics, exciting tales from before the now. I am disgusted to have to speak to you like this in the words and the languages of my enemies, English, the Anglo-Saxons, for I am a Viking. Ragnar the Wise is my name, and I used to be a great and powerful warrior, although I'm getting a little bit old for that now, and so instead I am a skald, or a scop, a teller of stories, and I'm here to tell you about the Battle of Ethandune, a great, huge battle where the Vikings, lost. We lost to the Anglo-Saxons and your king, Alfred the Great. Now, in order to better tell you of this, I should take off my helmet, although hopefully all my hair will stay on when I do. Oh, good. Is it all still there? Is it? No, it is. I'm afraid that's all that's left. The ravages of time. It will happen to you all. So, the Battle of Ethandune. Now, long before the battle, the Vikings, as you call us, have been raiding the coasts of England and many more places as well. We had been attacking your ships and breaking them up. We had been attacking and raiding your monasteries for silver, which you don't bother to guard them at all. And we had been generally making a nuisance of ourselves, stealing silver and slaves and food. And then we would use the silver to buy more slaves, and then we would sell the slaves to buy more food. And then use the silver to buy even more food. It was a great and wonderful, lovely time. And many of us Vikings thought, wait a minute, this England is full of lovely things. Why don't we just move in? Why don't we just attack and stay there, and then all of those lovely things could be ours forever? The Vikings came. We come from Norway. We come from Denmark. Great Danes. No, not Great Danes. That's a dog. Great warriors from Denmark, like myself. We come down in our long ships to attack you. You know, those Viking long ships with huge sails and beast heads upon the prow, made to look like dragons, or wolves, or eagles, or ravens, or great mystical beasts of the sea. We sailed in those boats and attacked England. First, the English northern kingdom, Northumbria, fell when we attacked Jorvik, or York, as you call it. Then we took our boats down the rivers and attacked other places too. We used our silver to buy off the kingdom of the East English, East Anglia, to promise to be friends with them, and then attacked them and destroyed them anyway. And the kingdom of Mercia, right in the middle of England, fell when their king ran away. Rather than fight the Vikings and our great heathen army. And I don't blame him at all, for our army was led by great and powerful warriors, chiefly among them Ivar the Boneless and his brother Ubba, both of them sons of the great Viking lord Ragnar of the Hairy Trousers. Yes, that's his real name. It's not me. It's a different Ragnar. Not Ragnar the Wise, but Ragnar of the Hairy Trousers. A great warrior, despite his ridiculous name. So, the Vikings had swarmed down with our armies and our ships and reduced 3 out of the 4 English kingdoms to nothing. We came with swords and shields and axes like this. Great Dane axes, or bearded axes they're called, because of this long bit here which apparently looks like a beard. We would use these axes to destroy your armies, or hook onto your shields with this bit here and then pull you down when the warrior from the Saxons would tip forward. Oh, I see, who knew? Put off balance by us grabbing the shield, then we would use the axe to smash you in the face and take even more of your stuff. There was only one English kingdom left, the kingdom of Wessex and its king, Alfred. When I first saw Alfred the Great, I did not think much of him at all. Yes, he was very tall, but very, very thin.
almost as thin as the haft of my axe. Oh, so tiny, so thin and small. He didn't even use a sword or a shield, I don't think, nor indeed lift heavy objects to make him strong. No, no, no.
I doubt at all he could wear armour like I'm wearing. No mail suit for him. No hundreds upon hundreds of iron rings riveted together to protect his body, not like I am protected with mine. Mwah! Mwah! Oh yeah, look at me, I'm incredible. No, he was slight and small. He favoured this king reading and writing. I hear that Alfred the Great also does not eat meat and prefers the company of vegetables. Well, when we heard this, the rest of the Vikings and the whole army laughed. If their king is not a warrior and reads and eats vegetables, we will defeat them easily. We would often fight your armies and then stop, and you would give us money to leave.
I'm terribly sorry about that huge war. Would you take some silver and then go?
And we would say, oh yes, we're going now. We will totally be leaving. Thanks for the silver. That's all we wanted. We will leave England forever. Bye.
And then stay. And you would say, oh no, perhaps you didn't understand. Have some more silver and then really go this time.
Oh yes, no, we're really going. Really on three. On three, we're really going this time. Ready? Yeah, on three. 1, 2, 3. No, we're not. We're staying. And 1 year, we had taken silver from you and allowed you to celebrate your Christmas time in the town of Chippenham. We had taken silver and promised not to attack you there. So, we attacked you! Of course we did! We're Vikings! We came and attacked you and smashed the town, destroyed your army, and scattered all of the English warriors. King Alfred himself ran and hid in a swamp in the area you call the Somerset Marshes. Just imagine that. All of England now reduced to a teeny tiny swamp. Alfred and his men hid in that swamp. We could not find him in there, though we tried. And here we heard a story about Alfred burning some cakes. Apparently he was so worried about England and himself, going, oh no, I'm the king, and I've lost the throne. What are I going to do? Oh no, I'm no longer king of the West Saxons, and all of the lands of the English will fall to the Danes and the Vikings and be called Daneland or Vikingland or something like that. And he was so distracted, he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. An old fisherwoman had asked him to look after some cakes she was cooking. Because he was not paying attention, the cakes burned, and the fisherwoman was so upset she turned to the king and slapped him in the face and said, King, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. You need to think about it. Which gave Alfred an idea, apparently, to use his brain to think his way out of the problem. We Vikings had used swords and shields and axes, and Alfred would use a weapon of a different kind. He was nice to the people who lived in the swamp. You see, it was a tidal swamp, so when the sea came in, it would flood the swamp, and areas that had in the morning been on the land, at night were underwater. Well, we could never work out which bit was which. We would get trapped, and our Viking warriors would drown or have to run away from the rising tide. Not Alfred or the English. Talking to the people that lived in the swamp and being nice to them meant they could always hide from us in areas they knew were safe. They raided the Vikings, running out of the swamp and then running quickly back in. There is a story that Alfred even disguised himself as a musician, crept out of the swamp, and listened at a camp of Vikings to hear our battle plans. There is even a more incredible rumour that he used writing to save himself, writing messages to the other generals of his warriors, telling them where to meet him and when, because he'd insisted that all of the jarls, that all of the elder men could read and write. And using this, coordinated a great effort to organise a huge Saxon army to meet at Ethandune, a small town just outside of the swamp. Now, I don't know whether any of that is true, the musicians, the cake, or the writing, but I do know, because I was there, that the great heathen army of Vikings met an even greater Anglo-Saxon army at Ethandune in 879. There were so many of them. The leader of the army, a man by the name of Guthrum the Unlucky, that Viking looked down on the English and looked at the time like this. Where did they all come from? He said. I don't know, Guthrum. What should we do? Well, we are Vikings, so attack? And we did. We lined up, shield to shield. The shield walls walked down, facing one another. The axemen, like me, behind in the second and the third rows. Both forces fought together. And the Anglo-Saxons won, defending your home, fighting for your families and for your land. And fighting, no doubt, for Alfred the Great, who used his brain to defeat an army with swords and shields. His brain, the best weapon of all. After the battle, he kept on using that brain to think even further. Guthrum, the Viking leader, was baptized, changed his name to Athelstan, converted to Christianity, and promised not to attack Alfred anymore. And only a few years later, we separated England into two halves after the Anglo-Saxons took London away from the Vikings. If you have a map of England, get a ruler and a pencil, start making a line in the northwest at the city of Chester, and go all the way down in a diagonal to the southeast to London. Everything north and east of that line was called the Danelaw, and everything south and west was the lands of the English. I at last understood why Alfred was called the Great. Now, thank you very much indeed for listening to me. I have been Ragnar the Wise, and I shall be returning in another great video about Vikings, maybe stories of the Viking gods, for Histrionics. In the meantime, if you have been impressed by our story, maybe you could think up your own Viking names, like Ivar the Boneless, or Ragnar of the Hairy Trousers, whatever you want. Maybe you could also design your own Viking longship, or write a story as if you are Alfred the Great, or one of the English warriors trapped inside the swamp, encircled by Vikings. I have been Ragnar the Wise, and I shall see you all very, very soon. Farewell, and stay safe.